um, Government system and contemporary issues. Um, State and governance. Governance is a system of mechanism of operating state. It is the exercise of political power to manage state affairs. Government is a sum total of process, structures, institutions, and customs through which the function of governing is carried out. It is required for the well functioning of state mechanism and society. Poor governance ultimately result to poverty. UNDP in its strategy note on governance for human development defines governance is a system of values, policies and institutions by which a society manages its economic, political and social affairs through interactions within the among the state, civil society and private sector. Governance like corporate administration, committee, policy, staff, mission, responsibility, decision making, ethics, board rules, corporate. Governance is the old government's governance is as old as human civilization through it used to be rudimentary then. In traditional sense, governance implies the functions of controlling, directing, maintaining law and order, and punishing in case of breach of law by state authorities. So, by the last, governance is a political process of statecraft, a democratic and legitimate act of pursuing public interest, reflection of social economic setting of a state, ideology adopted by the state, brain and soul of the state system. Basically, governance encompasses four prime aspects via regulation, management of resources, public mobilization, and public service delivery. Conceptual development. The government system across the globe has been changing due to the rapidly changing needs and expectation of the people and political culture. Government is as old as state system. Aristotle advocated mm, for governance as per the constitution. In 2015, Magna Carta put forward the concept that governing power should be vested in people in the United Kingdom. In 1689, Parliament acquired and exercised the power of the king through Bill of Rights in the UK. The United States Constitution that came into effect on March 4, 1789, established French Revolution acknowledged the population people as the real governing power. In 1885, Evidice interpreted the rule of law, stressing on the law as the supreme authority for governance and governance system as per the law. Rules of governance regulating resource management, public mobilization, public service delivery, monitoring and evaluation of government function, mirroring public aspiration and expectation, characteristics and features. uh, Actors of governance may be legislature, executive, judiciary, constitutional bodies, private sector, social sector, and institutional community. Characteristics features of governance: civilian supremacy, rule of law, representative system, regulatory power, periodic election and adult franchise, structure of the governance, separation and check and balance of power. Others, independent and competent judiciary, judicial review, embarrassment of human rights, multidimensional relation, vision. Are governance and non-governance same? Governments and governance and government are the two words that sound similar and often used interchangeably. A difference between governance and government is confused for many people. Governance and government are interchangeable in the sense the process of governing, but they differ in real sense. Two, they are similar in substance, they are different in meaning. Governance is what a government does. Governance is what a government does. It is the it is the exercise of powers that are bestowed upon the government according to set rules and regulation using a system of devised for the purpose of governance It is a body that comprises a persons or a group of persons who run the administration of a country. It is an agent acting as a means through which governing power is exercised, while government is the agent mandated for governing. Governance is a result of the agent action. Governance is the physical exercise of policy, while the government is the body through which this is done. Meanwhile, governance is often the word which is also used for the administration of non-governmental organization, while government works better in reference to the public administration of nation, state, municipalities, etc. Political and administrative structure of governance. Political structure of governance. Governance mechanism is ultimately headed by the political authority. Political structure, the governance system of the state. Thus, polit- politics is the central pillar of governance system. On the basis of structure of state, federal governance system, structure, unitary governance structure. On the basis of form of governance, presidential governance system, parliamentary governance system, semi-presidential governance system. Administrative structure of governance, central administrative structure, regional, provincial, and local administrative structure. Problem and challenges of political structure of governance. Everlasting political instability that hinders the institutionalization of democracy and its benefit. Disputes and lack of consensus among political parties, disrupting the effective implementation of constitution. Malpractices in parliamentary systems, such as buying and selling of parliamentary members, is hard time and again. Poor political discipline, culture, and undemocratic political parties. Local level lacks adequate resource to be self-reliant that impedes autonomous local governance. I have books. Okay, problems of administrative structure of governance system. Okay, so problems. Okay, despite the provision of federal governance in constitution, centralized and cumbersome administrative structure, heavy political interference, and undue influence in appointment, focus on process orientation rather than result orientation is deeply rooted in Nepalese administration. Principles of decentralization and devolution are confined to laws and policies, lacking effective implementation, lack of coordination due to structural bottleneck, and poor communication mechanism within and among administrative bodies. Rent seeking behavior remains as a legacy to Nepalese bureaucracy. CRSY, bureaucracy, poor efficiency and effectiveness in delivery of service to public, ineffectiveness in making public administration for people, poor use of modern ICT technology in service delivery, low level of public trust. Even this is also a problem of administrative structure in Nepal governance system. Okay, Nepal governance system. This one is simple one. Ancient period, medieval period, unification period, Rana period, democratic realization period, Panchayat period, restoration of democracy, and federal democratic republican. Ancient period, feudal monarchs exist. Gopal, Ayar, Kirat, and Lichivi ruled under the introduction of Nepal Sambat in 936 BS. Medieval period, Malla kings rules during the medieval period in Kathmandu Valley. Similarly, Baise and Chaubise state existed outside the valley in a disintegrated form until the unification campaign. Unification period. King Prithviraj Shah, a characteristic leader in Nepal's history, unified the country. Rana period. Rana Jang Bahadur Rana established, achieved Rana regime after Kot Maske, Massacre in 1903 BS. Democratic realization period. People movement uprooted autocratic Rana regime and laid foundation stone of democracy on Fagun 2007 BS. Ruled by the people for the people started. Panchayat period. The Then King Mahinda dissolved the parliament, squeezed the throat of embryonic multi-party democratic polity, and introduced partyless panchayat system on post 2217 BS. Restoration of democracy. After the people's movement against panchayat system, democracy was restored on Chaitra 26, 2046 BS. Constitutional monarchy, multi-party democracy, rule of law, human rights and independent judiciary. Federal Democratic Republican period. After the People's Movement 2062 and 63 BS against King's direct rule, after royal takeover, framework for federal democratic republic system was designed. Thank you everyone. हजुरको एक्जाम सफल रहोस्. मेरो च्यानल सब्सक्राइब गरिदिनुहोस् गभर्मेन्ट सिस्टम्स एन्ड कन्टेम्पोरेरी इस्युबाट. धन्यवाद. थ्याङ्क यू फर लिसनिङ.